have just a few more minutes to take a couple of questions that we got online prior to the webinar. So the first one I have here says, greetings from Colombia, South America. The smart grid concept is becoming the best solution to shape our future cities. What do you think will be the key topics in the development of this technology? And I think maybe Emily, this might be for you.
There's a lot of different topics and technologies that are addressing the future connected smart grid. A couple interesting areas and points to think about. So of course, grid infrastructure in the US and old grid infrastructure is stagnant, it's dumb, it's manually operated. And as we move towards a smart grid, there are all sorts of technologies that have been developed or are in development that are creating advanced sensors and controls and retrofits. And then of course the software that overlays all of that, so that ideally we can optimize the flow of electricity so that it is bidirectional and that it can be deployed where it is needed, when it is needed. So a lot of technology and various technology development is focused on basically matching the demand for electricity with the supply of electricity. And there are all sorts of different technology takes on how we might retrofit the old grid in order to do so. Of course, in emerging markets where grids are still for the first time being developed, this also presents a huge opportunity because we can, in those markets, totally reimagine with this new smart connected technology what a grid might look like that is bidirectional, that is where you can automate the flow of electricity to meet supply and demand when it's needed. So that's also really exciting. And I think, from a policy standpoint, we're now, especially in the US, trying to figure out for the first time, where we have this smart grid and we have these empowered consumers who, for the first time, have solar in their house, they have an electric vehicle, they have a battery, and they may, be actually selling electricity back to their utility or back to the grid. How do we redefine electricity rate structure that allows for these new distributed and empowered consumers that are integrating with the smart grid? So those are just a couple of things to think about. It's certainly really exciting to imagine what a future grid might look like, both in the US and Europe, but also in some of these emerging markets in Africa and Southeast Asia.